Good morning. I just want to say something about the approach that we adopted while approaching new technologies. You know, ALIAS stands for Addressing Liability Issues of Automated Systems. And the first question for us at the beginning of the project was how to address this topic, where we start from. And for sure, we can start from the current legal framework. We can start from the real cases, the real accidents or near misses or anyway, cases that are known and that can be relevant. But when we face new technologies, we also look at the situation in a more proactive way. And we try to identify a tool to apply this proactive approach. And we decided to use scenarios. Scenarios are stories, you know, and that are widely used in the design and in the evaluation of new concepts in many different fields. In the particular field of ATM, they are used to investigate safety aspects and also human factor aspects. They are useful means, I would say, because they have a lot of advantages, but in our context, for sure they have the advantage to allow to analyze a situation in the context. So you can see all the different components that were at stake in creating that situation. But they also have the power to be a tool that can be easily used by different people. Different stakeholders can look at the same situation from their point of view and can discuss on this situation. And it can be quite easy for them to use the story as a common basis for discussion. They start discussing the story and then maybe they share point of view that are more general. So we try to apply the same approach in our project, trying to see if we can use scenarios to identify liability issues that can be associated to new technologies, that is, that can be taken into account when you consider the new technologies. And our challenge is to do it during the design process, instead of taking into consideration the legal aspects, the liability aspects at the end of the design process, when maybe they create barriers for the implementation or the adoption of a certain technology. So, as Giovanni told you yesterday, one of the objectives of our project is to create a legal case that is a methodological tool to take into consideration the legal aspects during the design process, at the different phases of the design process. And we think that the scenarios can be a starting point. And we also propose the scenarios to you as a common tool that we can share in the network to see if how we can approach a new technology. And in the deliverable that Giuseppe has mentioned before, we have selected some technologies and we have tried to figure out some scenarios. They don't pretend to be fully realistic. They don't pretend to represent a situation that will happen, or for sure they don't want to highlight a technology as a risky technology, or this is not our approach at all. We are just trying to think about a technology creating a situation. And we will be really happy if you would like to intervene in our discussion and help us in detailing the scenarios, modifying the scenarios when they will be published, and to highlight your point of view on the scenarios, because we try to imagine maybe the point of view of the controllers, the point of view of the industries, but we just try to imagine them. So you are the persons that can actually give us your point of view, and we think it's important to create this community that we are trying to make discussing in our network. So this is just a brief introduction to one of the couple of the scenarios that we wrote in this deliverable that concern the unmanned aircraft. I repeat, they don't pretend to be realistic, and if you want help us in detailing, updating, revising them as you can, we are for sure happy. But I invite you to look at the scenario as a means to discuss. So start from the scenario and then go further. Don't be blocked by maybe a problem in the realism of a detail. So that's it from my side. Thank you.